Welcome to Idaho Media Showcase. At Idaho Media Showcase, we explore all facets of media production throughout our beautiful state of Idaho.
Hello and welcome to Idaho Media Showcase. I'm your host, Lance Thompson, and our guest this evening is Peg Owens from the Idaho Film Office. Peg, welcome to Idaho Media Showcase.
Thank you, Lance. It's my pleasure.
Well, thanks for coming. Now, you've got a big event coming up, the Cineposium, starting
Yes.
May 18th and 19th. Can you tell us a little bit about
May
that?
18th and 19th, we're going to Coeur d'Alene this year.
And what
because
is
we were in
this?
Boise
What is a
last year.
Cineposium?
Cineposium is a cinema symposium.
And you've done this. This is not the first time you've done this.
This is the second one, yes.
Okay.
This is the second one we're bringing up to Coeur d'Alene. And we're mixing it up a little bit from last year. And this year we're going to start off with a movie that was made in Idaho, Soda Springs.
Oh, good.
Is the film that we're bringing up there. And the writer, actor, producer, Jay Pickett, is coming up, as well as the executive producer, Gary Holly. They're going to come do a Q&A afterwards. And Silverwood Theme Park has graciously allowed us to use their theater, so we'll kick off the event that night, and then we'll have a conference all day Saturday at the Coeur d'Alene Inn.
So now let's take it from the top. Soda Springs, has that been seen before? Is this kind of a premiere, or is this an Idaho premiere, or what?
No, Soda Springs actually premiered at the Sun Valley Film Festival and it won the Audience Award. So
Like a People's Choice.
the People's Choice Award, yes.
So
in
it's
Sun
got
Valley.
some credentials already.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And then the next day you said it's conferences and what is that sort
It's
of?
panel discussions and keynote speakers and a very special interview at noon that we're just thrilled about.
Is that secret, or can we talk about it?
We have a young actor by the name of Joel Courtney who lives in Moscow, Idaho. And when Joel was about 14, he went down to Los Angeles to visit his brother who was acting. And Joel thought maybe he'd go in for a commercial, make $100 or something. And he ends up going to an audition, and some dozen or so callbacks later, he ends up with one of the roles in J.J. Abrams' film Super 8 that came out last year.
Wow.
So Joel's going to come be interviewed by casting director Katrine McGregor. And coincidentally, Katrine is working on a program called Defining Moment, where she has teenagers interview celebrities. So I'm betting that Katrine's going to come away from this Cineposium with an interview slated with Joel Courtney.
Very good. Now, is that the show that Katrine is doing? That's a television show.
Yes.
Is that going to be? Will we see any of that at the Cineposium?
No.
Okay.
We're just screening something the night before. It's my purpose to hold an educational conference, and that's what we'll be doing.
So that's the purpose of the Cineposium is to who's it aimed at? Who should come to the Cineposium?
Anybody that wants to learn more about the film industry. We're going to, with Joel Courtney coming, we're going to have an extraordinary number of young people this year. A number of kids are coming up from Arts West High School, and some of the other high schools in the Coeur d'Alene area have been alerted about this. A couple of people signed up after they saw a mention of it on Joel Courtney's Facebook fan page.
Once you get the stars in there, they
Right. But we're going to be doing sessions on funding and legal issues. We have someone coming up from Los Angeles to do social networking for filmmakers. This is a woman who has like 4,000 Facebook fans and is a master at it. And then we're going to have Chris Irvin and Jesse Courts are going to demonstrate the mocap suit, the motion capture suit.
Oh, wow.
And we also have a production management
I was going to
panel.
say, what is a mocap suit? So that
Motion capture.
And then
Motion
what
capture.
does
It's all
that do?
those electrodes.
and
I don't know.
it's used for animation.
It's used for animation.
Okay.
Yes, it's a suit that you put on an actor, and then you're able to grab the readings of that actor's movements, and you can turn it into a character moving that way. An example of that is Tom Hanks in
the Polar Express. Yes, right.
That's a very good example of Tom Hanks was in a motion capture suit, and then they made the resulting animation from that looks so realistic.
And we have the stage. There's a stage at BSU, right? A motion capture stage, right? Is that where a lot of that happens?
I don't know. I just know that,
Oh, they're
that
going to
Jesse,
demonstrate it
they're going to
there.
demonstrate it at the Cineposium. And then we're going to move on to a production management panel, and we'll have Greg Green up there, who just came off of the success of having his movie Three of a Kind in Houston World Fest.
4 awards, 4 best of awards.
4 awards, and Houston World Fest. Get your kicks at Indie Flicks.
There it is,
Love
folks.
the logo.
And which you just came back from also. When was that? Was just recently, right?
That was just a couple of weeks ago, and we were really pleased at how well received Idaho was, how well received this film was, the talent that's in it, and the questions from the audience in the Q&A were really terrific. And I think that there's a lot of affinity between Idaho and Texas.
Why is that? How did you determine that?
I think we're both just very friendly, independent, spirited people, only we have more mountains.
Yeah, they have more armadillos, so
Yeah.
it works out.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like this is very, very much attuned to professionals in the industry. What if you're just a movie fan? Would it be of interest to just somebody who likes to watch movies? Or,
Well, as a fan, you would learn a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes on. I know Joel's going to show some clips from his work. And something he has in the can, so to speak, coming out is Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. So you'll see him play Tom Sawyer.
So a little bit of a sneak preview of that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. And then we finish up the day with Jerome Kershaw coming back. We had Jerome last year teaching the secrets of distribution. Because I'll tell you, when people come into my office, the first question I want to ask them is, how are you going to distribute this? How are you going to get your money back or your investors' money back? How are you going to get this project idea not just done, which is a miracle in and of itself, but distributed and making money back so that you can then go on and make your next project? So Jerome is going to teach about distribution.
Okay. So if people are interested in this, it's May 18th and 19th in Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene.
Okay. And then is there a website? How do they find out more?
Start at filmidaho.org.
Your film office website.
Right, our website. And then on the side nav bar, you'll see workshops and grants. Follow that workshop link, and you'll be able to sign up online.
Okay. Is there a limited seating? How many people can you take up there?
100 easy.
Okay.
No problem.
So it's going to be it's going to be a cool group because it's 100 people talking about movies and stars and directors and distributors.
I think so. Last year was the first year we put this on, and
that was here, right?
It was here in Boise, and it was 2 solid days. There wasn't a screening, and the reviews that I got were fairly stellar. In my office, I work with people that come from all areas of the business. A few weeks ago, I was scouting with a very experienced location scout for a potential movie, and then I also work with people that are coming out of college and wanting to do small things. So I think there's something in there for everyone.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the film, what the film office does, because I'm not sure everyone understands that. You've been doing that for some time.
A lot of years.
So I mean, the film office is. I mean, it's what you've created there. I mean,
Yes.
it's your
Yes.
baby. So what is the purpose of the film office?
The purpose of the film office is to expand the opportunities for filmmakers in Idaho. And I will tell you, it's changed a lot in the years that I've been there, because when I first came, everybody was shooting on film, and my office was there primarily to respond to calls from Hollywood or Chicago or New York, anybody that needed the kind of locations that Idaho has to offer. And we would host a lot of projects. We would host a lot of the major motion picture companies. And, of course, Dante's Peak was one of the last bigger ones we have. Then we saw incentives become very important, and a lot of work went to Canada.
So what do you mean? What's an incentive?
An incentive is a financial reason for someone to come and spend money in your state. The incentive could be, if you're building a factory, maybe the state would expend money to bring a sewer line to your business. Perhaps the state would kick in something in order to help bring your business there. So there are states that have filmmaking incentives in order to lure Hollywood to their jurisdiction for the money that Hollywood spends.
So what do we have in that way? What is our incentive?
We have a very small incentive that returns your sales tax that you spend on tangible personal property.
Okay.
We do not have an incentive that some of the major motion picture companies are looking for.
Okay, so that's one of the big changes in your business, in the service that you provide, is that's one of the first questions that is asked of you. What are your incentives?
Right.
And then you say, we have a little bitty one, and then,
right.
Then they hang up, or what happens?
Well, what happens is you don't even get the phone call, because all that information is on the web. So the phone call isn't generated, in which I would explain how we don't have much in the way of permit structure in our cities, and Idaho's very affordable. You can work with property owners and not necessarily have to pay the kinds of site rental fees you might in California. You're not going to have a half a dozen police officers at your location. It's just so much easier to work in Idaho, and that does translate into money. But when the whole system is set up to work off of incentives, then the phone call doesn't come in which you can explain all of the other benefits to working in Idaho.
So how do you get the word out? How do you attract people to Idaho? You don't have the incentives; they don't call you. How do you tell filmmakers about Idaho?
Well, we still continue to advertise a bit, and we go to a locations trade show. That's coming up in June, and we'll also go to the Produced By conference. But largely speaking, our film office has morphed into one that's paying a lot more attention to its indigenous filmmakers. And that's the other shift I've seen during the course of my career, and I think that's an even larger one in the sense that cameras, good cameras, HD cameras, are now in the hands of people wanting to tell their own stories. So in the beginning, all I could do was work with Hollywood coming in and their Hourflexes and Panavisions, and now we have a whole lot of people that can go out and put a script together, put a documentary idea together, go film it, and edit it themselves on computers, and come up with a finished project and get it into the marketplace, not totally alone, but without needing to spend the huge amounts of money that you would on film stock and film processing.
Sure.
You can do a lot more of it yourself these days. So I've taken to calling it that the democratization of Hollywood hasn't quite reached its full potential now, because the screens are mostly controlled by Hollywood movies. But there are a lot of very wonderful films that are coming out made by people across the country in a place like Boise, Idaho, or Coeur d'Alene, or Austin, Texas, that are not coming out of the Hollywood machine.
So you spoke of indigenous filmmakers. Do we have an indigenous filmmaking community here?
Yes, you're one.
Yeah. Well, I'm drawing you out. Well, I mean, tell us. I mean, for example, Greg Green's movie that won the awards in Houston. What was that? What was that like? Did you know the background of that, or?
Greg Green has been living in Idaho for a few years, and this particular project was something he did, I believe, as a thesis project way back when. And he dug it out. Somebody looked at it and said, you know, you should make this into a full-fledged movie. And so he did. And he shot it almost entirely in Boise, Idaho, although it is set in Chicago and Buenos Aires. They had to go to Mexico to do, to double Buenos Aires. But you'd be surprised at the quality of a product that can come out of Idaho.
So we have locations here that actually look like Chicago, that he was able to make it look like he was there.
Looks like it enough. Wow. And, you throw an establishing shot at the beginning of something, and it fools the viewer into thinking, yeah, there you are. There's those aerials of Chicago. Cut to, oh, you must be in Chicago. The whole business does it that way. So you can film anywhere. And then
what else? And Soda Springs was also made here.
Yes,
right?
It was, but it was not made in Soda Springs.
Now, was it made in Idaho?
Yes, it was made in Emmett.
I thought it was on shaky ground there.
I noticed some establishing shots in Soda Springs. Soda Springs has very wide streets.
Oh.
And Emmett really doesn't as much. And so.
Well, that's okay. Only the locals will know. And
but I think Soda Springs was a more evocative title than Emmett.
Yeah. Well, like Magic Valley and Buell, that title changed, right?
Well, actually, here's a little secret about that title is Soda Springs wanted to call their movie Treasure Valley, but Magic Valley had beaten them to it, and they didn't want to have another valley title movie, so they called it Soda Springs.
Well, Soda Springs sounds good. It sounds like, what do you call it, a soda fountain, right? It sounds like you want to go there.
And the people that come to that screening at Silverwood Theme Park will be really pleasantly surprised. This is a beautifully shot movie by Jeffrey Smith. It has Idaho music in it, Idaho
actors. The composer is that? Whoa, wow. So do we have? I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish. I didn't mean to.
Well, I was just going to say, don't ask me the composer's name because I don't remember.
Okay, well, we won't. So we have people here who are directors, who are videographers, who are composers, who are actors, who are directors, writers, all this stuff, and the film office now, to bring you back to your specialty, you sometimes or yearly you have grants.
Yes.
And recently you have been awarding grants to indigenous filmmakers,
right?
Idaho filmmakers.
Right.
How did that start, and what?
Well, we took a good hard look a few years ago as the recession started and determined that we were probably not going to get incentives anytime soon and that we needed to move forward with some programs to help our filmmakers. So we decided that we were not going to go to the Sundance Film Festival any longer because most people talking to us at that festival, at the reception we would hold with our partner states, wanted to know what incentives we had. So we decided to take, the first year it was $20,000, the second year it was $30,000, it'll continue at that level, and offer grants out for workforce development to Idaho filmmakers.
So what does workforce development mean?
Well, we're happy to put some money into your production as long as you're going to be training people in the course of that production.
Idaho people who live in Idaho.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's open to, is it short films, features, documentaries, what?
Anything but commercials.
Anything but commercials.
And it can even be new media. It can even be game development. The first year, there was a game produced using some of our grant dollars.
Computer game, video game. Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow. So that's, so it sounds, okay, so that, I asked you before we went on the air, so I'm going to ask you again. In the last few years, do you think that the media community in Idaho has expanded, has stayed the same? Or, I mean, are we making progress? Are we getting more people? Are we getting more interest? What's your view from the film office?
I think we're getting more and more projects done. I recently met with a filmmaker that came to Boise for a meeting, fell in love with it, went back to California and decided, I'm moving.
Huh.
And so he's moving his operation here. He'll be traveling quite a bit for a while. We're seen as a great quality of life, and there are plenty of other places that offer that as well. But
Just
we're
not
also
as good as here.
well. We do have a certain proximity to Los Angeles to get back and forth for business meetings, and so we're a little more convenient, I think, than perhaps being in St. Louis.
Yeah, because it's muggy there, and they have thunderstorms, and yeah, I'm from there. I'm from that area, so yeah, this is much better. Okay, so what's on the film office docket now for the future? You have the Cineposium, and then what are your plans for the rest of the year? Do you have, like projects you want to fund, or are you ideas you're going to do, or things you're going to use to market Idaho? Or
Well, after Cineposium, I'm going to take a few days off.
what? I didn't think you ever did that.
But then then Diane and I are both going down to the Produced By conference.
Where's that?
That's in Los Angeles. It's put on by the Producers Guild of America. And last year, the Association of Film Commissioners partnered with the Producers Guild and held the location trade show in concert with the Produced By conference. We found the conference was really terrific, but the trade show part didn't quite work out, so the two organizations are back on their own. But they did book it within a week of each other.
Okay.
So we're going to go down and educate ourselves at the Produced By conference and share what we've learned with people, meet people, make connections there, and then we will go and work the trade show booth.
And then when you work the trade show booth, as you said, we don't have the incentives. What do you? Somebody comes up. Who will come up? Is it filmmakers or producers, or who comes to your booth? I mean, what do you?
Both. What you don't see there are high-level people.
Oh,
You see,
so like what?
you see location managers. You see
But that's good.
young
right?
producers. Yeah.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
what do? You grab them, even though they're saying, "Oh, no incentives." I mean, well, how do you? Do you have candy? What do you give up? I mean, how do you get them to?
I'm going to be bringing some Idaho candy this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We lure them in with candy and then talk
And you
to
tell them about the incentives that are not necessarily the cash
Right.
incentives, but the
Right,
the right to work and the locations and
Right.
how convenient we are and that sort of thing.
right.
And okay, so that's the Produced By conference, and then you have another
The location trade show.
location trade show. Is that in?
That's the same week.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
that,
that's
so
the same week.
Pretty much the same.
Interchangeable.
Okay, so a lot of the same people will come to both.
I hope so. Yes. I
Okay.
hope so.
And then now we have a new. The film office is under the Commerce Department.
Yes.
We have new Commerce Director. We have
Yes.
a new legislature coming in next year. Or is the film office supported by state government, or how do they understand the importance of our industry?
Our commerce director is very supportive, and I believe that he's had clients in the past in other businesses that have been in game development.
So he
So
understands.
he's very interested. He's very interested. He's
Very
been
good.
flying around the state like a whirling dervish, but he's very interested.
A lot of territory to cover.
Yes, great deal.
Very good. Well, Peg, thank you for coming and giving us this. Oh, yeah, and I'm sorry, you went to the World Fest in Houston. What did you see anything besides the Greg Green multi-award-winning movie?
Just one. I was there to work, but I do want to show the. Come on. The Three of a Kind page. Right here. There's
Fabulous.
Three of a Kinds
And you have a
page. And then we put an ad in the inside back cover.
Green
which
deals
reads-
a winning hand with Three of a Kind, and Green is the director, Greg
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Idaho, when your budget is 1/10 the size of your ego. That's the Idaho Film Office. And then we have all our beautiful full-color
Yes.
locations.
Yes.
So if you're out there
Terrific.
thinking of making a movie, this is the place to come.
Yes.
And this is the lady to talk to, Peg Owens of the Idaho Film Office.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. My name is Lance Thompson. This is Idaho Media Showcase. Just a programming note. If you're looking for us on Friday night, it's Friday night at 7 p.m. on Channel 11, or Monday morning, 9 a.m., Channel 11, or you can see us on tvctvonline.org. And then later on, you can check with YouTube, and we'll just look under Idaho Media Showcase, and you can see all our old shows. and even our new shows. So thank you for joining us, and we are done unless you have any other closing thoughts about Idaho filmmaking.
Yes.
Oh, the Cineposium is May 18th and 19th in Coeur d'Alene. Check out the Idaho Film Office website. The website is
filmidaho.org.
filmidaho.org. That's where you get all the information. Find out how to get tickets, who to talk to, all the big stars that are going to be there, including you will be there yourself.
I'll be there.
Peg
yes.
Owens will be there. So you get to meet her in person after seeing her on TV. It's pretty cool.
And Joel Courtney from Super 8 will be there as well, the whole day.
Thanks for joining us.
Kinds of expertise to make our stories come to life. And that's what the Idaho Film Office, the Tourism Office, and the Department of Commerce have done for us this weekend.